is RV Vagabond Jerry, and I'm spending today and tonight on South Padre Island, Texas. And I'm going to give you kind of a long story to tell you about why I'm here and how South Padre Island is reacting to all this worldwide nonsense, I think. So I'm going to go inside my motorhome to tell you more about it. But first I'm going to show you some scenes about here where I am. That barricade there is on the far north end of the road that runs along South Padre Island, and I have camped here before. This is where I'm going to camp tonight. You can park anywhere along the road and camp. Actually, there's no parking restriction signs anywhere along the road that follows along the beach. Now down here near the end there are no beach access roads or trails, but you can easily climb over these dunes to get over to the beach, which all these people who are parked here, that's what they've done, and that's what they're doing, is just climbing over the dunes to get out to the beach. Now this is kind of interesting. Look at all of the horse riders here. They are really having a special day here at the beach. Nice. And it's a clear skies day. Very clear. Very few clouds in the sky today, so my solar is picking up a lot of good electricity collection. There's some people walking across the dunes. So I'm going to go inside now and talk to you more about this. So first let me tell you, 2 nights ago I spent the night at the Walmart in Brownsville. I went there mainly to get all my shopping done and then stayed for the night. And it was warm there. Not too bad, but all night long my bedroom stayed at about 80 degrees. And 80 degrees is about as warm as I can stand and still be able to sleep okay. I started to turn on my generator, my air conditioner, but I decided to, hopefully it would get cooler last night, but it didn't. Stayed about 80 all night. And then last night I drove to the Walmart in Port Isabel and spent the night there, and it got down to 75 degrees. So that was a nice relief. 75 is a whole lot better for sleeping than 80 degrees. And that's pretty much because Brownsville is about 40 miles from the beach, whereas St. Isabel is less than 5 miles to the beach. So you get a lot of more cool breezes. And then this morning I went over to Padre Island, and way on the south side is where the Isla Blanca campground is. It's a campground that is owned and operated by the county, and it is one of the best county campgrounds probably anywhere in the country. It's got about 600 camping spaces, and nearly all of them have electric and water hookups, and a lot of them have full hookups. So I was looking forward to a full day or more of electricity so that I could run my air conditioner all day long and have that bit of pleasure. So when I got there, I went into the office to check in, which was open, and the people there, however, told me that the campground is closed. We're not letting anybody in. And the beaches are closed, which really kind of stunned me. I realize what's going on worldwide with all of this, but for a campground to close and a beach to close, it's not the kind of place where you get thick crowds. There's a lot of people, but there's a lot of distance between the people. You don't see people on the beach just crowded together like they do in restaurants or stores. Now I want to let you know that today is March 17, and you're seeing this video much later due to my video upload schedule, but I want to let you know just when it is, which is important. So as I drove north along South Padre Island, I noticed that, you know, there are quite a few beach access points along the road between the far south side and the far north side where I am now. And some of them are just parking lots, so you walk out to the beach. And then a lot of them also are beach access roads where you can drive vehicles onto the beach. All of those beach access and parking lot access was closed. They closed their parking lots. And they're not letting any vehicles drive out onto the beach. And again, parking lots and beaches are not where a lot of people gather close together, where they can catch anything from one person to another. You don't normally go brush up against other people in parking lots and beaches. So that's why I think this whole scare is just paranoia. Now, there's no restriction to walking out on the beach from the road. The only problem is that if you're not checked into a hotel or using a parking lot from some of the stores around there, then as you drive north on the beach, you can park anywhere along the road and get out and walk over to the beach. Now, the good news for me is that the day is a very clear, sunny day, which means I'm going to get some really good solar collection. Now, yesterday, it was all overcast. I never saw the sun for a second yesterday. So my solar panels really struggled to keep up, but they did okay. In fact, when I woke up yesterday morning, my batteries were at 57% state of charge. And when I went to bed at midnight that night, they were still about 57%. So during the whole day, my solar was able to collect enough electricity to replace what I was using during the day. So it stayed really even. So that's good. But today, my batteries may get pretty much fully charged with getting this nice amount of sun. I've got 5 solar panels which are pulling in the most my controller can handle, which is about 800 watts DC. So staying at that most of the day, it will get my batteries pretty close to fully charged, I think. And let me show you the other really nice thing. As you can see, I pulled my bedroom slide out, which lets me open up that window and that window to get airflow through, in addition to the main window here. And there's a very brisk breeze coming from that window, which is going to be really nice tonight with air flowing across my head at the head of my bed. You can see my pillow flapping around there. It's 78 degrees in my motorhome right now, mid-morning, and I can stand it pretty well up to about 95 degrees inside my motorhome during the day when I'm just sitting around in the motorhome. I just need it cool to sleep. Now, there's actually 2 county campgrounds here on South Padre Island. The other one is much further down, about the middle ways down the beach, and of course it's closed as well because this is a county policy to close the campgrounds and the beaches. There's also a KOA here, which I did not check into, but I'm pretty sure they're open. Private businesses have a little more common sense than the government, if you ask me, in most cases. Now, the spring breakers, which should be here about this time, and then all of the regular vacationers, weekenders that are staying in the hotels, I assume they're doing just fine and are not affected much by all of this because they have their swimming pools, they have their beaches right behind the hotels. And there are some beach accesses that you can walk through in between the hotels to get to the beach. I think that would be fine. But the problem is, it's hard to find a place to park right in the city where all of the stores are. I guess you could park in the store parking lot and then walk over to the beach in a regular vehicle. I would not attempt that in my motorhome to stay for very long. But fortunately, like I said, you can park anywhere along the road here. And this motorhome just pulled in right in front of me there. He's trying to find a good place to park, and there are a few other cars here. There is also a large parking area right next to the convention center, which is on the bay side of the road. So that would be a good place to park if you don't want to come way down here and then park alongside of the highway. I'm going to stay here only one night, and tomorrow I'm going to go into the town of San Benito, which is just a little ways north of Brownsville. There's an RV park there that is a member of Passport America, and they allow half-price camping for up to 5 days. So I'll be able to get my full hookups for 5 days, which is going to be really nice. And then I'm going to do another week of boondocking along the coast before I continue my plans along this trip. I'm interspersing periods of boondocking with periods with hookups at RV parks, just to kind of break it up a bit. I was hoping early March would be a lot cooler, but it is definitely like about the middle of spring here. I'm in the ocean here about thigh high, and the water is pretty cold. And there's also a cool breeze, quite a swift cool breeze. So that's not making me want to go out any further and play in the surf. Now in midsummer it gets up to over 100 degrees here, so then the ocean is quite a nice cool relief, but not this early in the year. And as you can tell, everyone else kind of feels the same way. And by the way, one nice thing about having all of these solar panels on my roof is that getting so much solar collection midday, I can cook my lunch in the microwave or on a hot plate and not drag down my batteries from it, because when I use electricity during the day, it uses the electricity coming in from the solar before it pulls power from the batteries. So I'll be able to cook me a hot lunch today with no problem. So until this big health scare is over, if you want to come to South Padre Island, I would suggest calling Isla Blanca County Campground first on the phone and see if they're open and ask them if the beaches are open. Then you'll know if it's a good time to come or not. Good day, folks.